So today we're going to be unboxing the new iPhone XS. This is the newest phone from Apple. It is the updated version of the iPhone X. There's also an XS Max and an XR, which is not released yet. I went with the XS. This is the dual pixel camera. I'm gonna go over all the specs. I'm calling this an unboxing, so let's just get straight to the unboxing. That way that's out of the way, and you can stick around after to know all the specs and me to talk a little bit more on this camera, or this, oh yeah, this camera and this phone.
Looks like there's a problem.
So we'll do the unboxing first since this is an unboxing video, then I'll go over all the specs afterwards. That way if you're just here for the unboxing, we can get that out of the way, because if I start with the specs, I'll probably ramble on too long and then you'll be like, when's the unboxing? And you'll just wait for a while. So we'll get that out of the way, then we'll go in all the nitty-gritty details and talk about the phone and if this is gonna be better than my current phone, which is the iPhone 8. Obviously it's gonna be better, right? So let's begin with the unboxing. So included, we're gonna have the iPhone XS, some ear pods with lightning connectors, so headphone jacks out. It's just gonna plug right into the lightning, which also prevents you from charging, so you can't use your headphones and charge at the same time unless you get some like dongle splitter. And now we're dealing with a whole mess of accessories. Thanks, Apple, for that one. Lightning to USB cable and USB power adapter, the standard. And I have so many Apple products that like I have more chargers than I know what to do with. So, very easy, you don't need any tools to unbox this device. And I went with the silver version. As you can see here, we have what will resemble a planet, but it's also like kind of this color palette. It looks like kind of like a painted canvas color palette. No, I don't know what word I'm trying to go with. But you know what I mean, it's just kind of all the colors mixed up, also resembling a planet. These boxes are the same as they always are. They fit the phone, they're white, they kind of feel nice. This is a little raised here. The phone is a bit raised and it says iPhone in a nice little silver basic font that they always use, a little silver Apple logo right there. And then we start here at the top. We got the basics. It's gonna say hello, tell you what to do to start this thing up. And you always get your Apple stickers, 2 Apple stickers, which I've never used. I have all these Apple stickers, I've never put them on anything, but they still give them. People are loving these Apple stickers, they must be. It's the only thing Apple will ever give you for free. Here it is, here's the phone. Right here. You wanna see this more, the phone. I went with the silver and it has kind of this gloss mirrored look to it. I'm gonna peel this right off from the start. The edges here, let me take out my old iPhone 8 so we can do a nice little comparison as we do this. So as you can see here, this kind of has like a brushed finish on the edges here, where we here have chrome. The backs between the 2 silvers are almost identical. This one actually is more reflective on the iPhone XS. And instead of the single camera lens that we have here on the 8, we have the dual cameras here on the back of the XS. But other than that, the backs look almost exactly the same, just this is more mirrored. So you can use it as a mirror, I guess. Now the front, we lose all of the white altogether, which is kind of a bummer because I am actually a big fan of seeing this white. That's kind of, I like having a white phone. And I mean, we do have more screen here though. So I guess if screen is what you care about, then that's the way to go, but I kind of like an aesthetic look of my phone as well. I'm actually not crazy about the chrome. It's a little tacky in my personal opinion. I much prefer something a little more subtle like this brushed look. I still like the utilitarian look of the iPhone 5S. If they just made that with a bigger screen, I would be pretty satisfied personally. I actually enjoy the 5S body style. But they're not making phones for me apparently. Doesn't look too crazy different in comparison. You still have the 2 buttons here for volume control. You still have the silencer, just like the iPhone 8. You still have the SIM, and you still have this button, but this button here is much bigger, easier. And we lose Touch ID, obviously, because, oh, we're powering on now. We, of course, get our plug. We get more headphones. And we get our charger, as always, and that's all that's in the box. Hola. All right, let's get this baby started. I'm literally just at the startup screen of the phone, but the screen does look quite amazing. I could tell a difference in the brightness and just the way that the fonts look. And it's kind of cool. It's definitely a different look if we compare the two. It's definitely a different look of the phones. So that's the unboxing of the iPhone XS. Nothing too special. Apple always keeps it simple with their packaging and their boxing. I also did get the leather case here, as you can see, so I could throw that on now actually, now that I'm in the process of booting up my phone. The only part of white of the phone that I enjoy, I'm gonna lose for this leather case. So we're gonna see how my phone looks like in this now. Already. We'll leave that on. And there you have it. This is a silver phone, apparently. I wouldn't know the difference. And it kind of bums me out because I really like the look of my iPhone 8 in the black case, which is white. So, oh well, what are you gonna do? I have a bigger screen so I can watch things and film things and take photos and edit photos better and blah 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 blah. Set up your new phone. This will transfer your current settings. So that's it for the unboxing. Let's get into the specs. Let's get into the tech specs of this. So thanks for tuning in for the unboxing, and now we're just gonna go over some tech specs. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at a 5.8 inch Super Retina OLED display. It's so much Retina that it's super. The other ones are Retina. This one's Super Retina. It's more Retina than your eyes can receive. I don't know. That means we're looking at 2436 by 1125 pixel screen resolution, which is where the whole Retina thing comes from. At 458 PPI, that's all nerd stuff. Or if you comprehend, cool, keep following along. We're looking at 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, so in a typical setting. So that means dark blacks, good contrast, good to know. So we got wide color display, true tone display, 3D touch, fingerprint, blah, 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 blah. Splash water and dust resistant, that's good. Maximum depth of 2 meters for 30 minutes, which is not too shabby, I suppose. A12 Bionic chip, that's all processor stuff, 64-bit processor, dual 12 megapixel wide angle and telephoto lenses right here on the back. We're looking at a 1.8 aperture for the wide angle and a 2.4 aperture for the telephoto, which is interesting because I think you would rather have a wider aperture for telephoto since it's allowing less light in. But Apple will figure that out down the road, I'm sure. 2 times optical zoom, digital zoom up to 10 times. Optical zoom, very nice. And we have portrait mode with advanced bokeh and depth control, yada, yada, yada for your Seinfeld fans. Portrait mode with 5 effects. We got natural studio, contour, stage, and stage mono. for your black and white. Dual optical image stabilization, of course, 6-element lens, quad LED, true tone flash with slow sync. Obviously, you can get all this info on Apple, but I will continue on for those listening in the background. Sapphire crystal lens cover, backside illumination sensor, hybrid IR filter, autofocus with focus pixels, tap to focus with focus pixels, smart HDR for photos, wide color capture for photos and live photos, local tone mapping, advanced red eye correction, exposure control, auto image stabilization, burst mode, timer mode, photo geotagging, and image format captured at HEIF and JPEG for your file choice goodness. Now video, let's talk the goods right now. So we got 4K video at 24 frames, 30 frames, and 60 frames a second. What? 4K at 60 frames a second? That's pretty solid for a phone. This 6D Mark II that is recording me, that is like roughly probably around $1,500 now, but came out at a $2,000 price point not that long ago, is 1080p at 60 frames a second. That's recording me right this second. This is 4K 60. Ooh. Canon, get it together. So then we also have 1080p at 30 frames or 60 frames a second, 720 HD recording at 30 frames a second, extended dynamic range for video up to 30 frames a second, which means you're gonna have a little bit more room to play with in post if you keep it at low frames per second, which means there might be a bigger compression ratio for the video recorded above in slow motion. And we have optical image stabilization for video, 2x optical zoom, digital zoom up to 6x for video. We have quad LED true tone flash. We have slow-mo video support for 1080p at 120 frames or 240 frames a second. We can record 1080p, 240 on our cell phones. Crap, that's crazy. That is absolute madness. And we have cinematic video stabilization at 1080p and 720. Which is cool. Time-lapse video with stabilization, not too shabby. Continuous autofocus video. You can take 8 megapixel still photos while recording 4K video. Now that I like. I love the idea that you're recording the video and in the moment you see the photo. You need to hit it in that moment. And that video, you know, you could chop up a little bit. It's just B-roll, but you just see something. You don't want to stop. Now it's not the right way to do it. There's plenty of different ways to take a photo, but the option that it's there, you never know when that moment comes across when you could use that. That's awesome. We got some playback, zoom, video geotagging, video formats recorded at HEVC and H.264, and some stereo recording. They call it the true depth camera, which is the front camera, a 7 megapixel camera, 2.2 aperture. We got portrait mode with advanced bokeh and depth control in the front camera, so you're getting all that goodness right there. 1080p video recording at 30 or 60 and smart HDR for photos. Extended dynamic range for video up to 30. So we're getting a lot of the same treatment on that front camera, just a little bit less resolution, and we are not getting our 4K up front. But that's okay, we'll take what we could get, and we have 4K 60 in the back, so we cannot be too upset about 4K up front. Especially since I still don't think a lot of people are using 4K recording on their phone, but I could be wrong. And then we have the whole Face ID thing going on. We already had an Apple X, or it's at least been around for you long enough to understand. We have a bunch of stuff we could talk about with wireless, location, blah, 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 video calling, audio playback, video playback. I mean, this is all stuff you could look up online. I just want to get to the stuff that would matter most to you. We solve Siri, obviously. They feel the need to tell us that as if they're ever gonna give up on it. Just make it better so we can enjoy it. I'm sorry, but Google Home is way better. Hey Google, what do you think about Siri?
Siri seems funny.
So before we kill this video here, as I bored you with specs you could easily find online, I am going to go over the last thing that matters, and that's your power and battery life. So it's supposed to last up to 30 minutes longer than the iPhone X, and it's supposed to have up to 20 hours of talk time wirelessly with up to 12 hours of internet usage, 14 hours of video playback, which, yeah, we'll see, and 60 hours of audio playback, which that'd be amazing too, we'll see. Fast charge capable, so up to 50% charge in 30 minutes. That is something to be psyched about because we don't have time to be waiting around for our phones to charge anymore. We're busy people. We need everything instantly. Now, that's why we're going to voice. You know what? I think we got this video. I think we nailed it. We went over the sensors. We have operating system, iOS 12. You can look up all that online. We have accessibility, yada yada, built-in apps, you know, free apps, headphones. We know the deal. We know how this works. System requirement. You know it. 2 phones. 8, gone. XS, here. This is my new phone. We're gonna see how this camera works. I'm gonna double back with you on this camera and this phone, see how I think. And I should be getting my red hydrogen one in soon, and we'll be able to go head to head with the hydrogen one and the iPhone XS and see where we end up there for quality wise and practicality of use for a phone and what's cooler. Because they didn't really do too much extra with this one. They kind of just improved on slight things that were in the X, but this is basically the X2, obviously. You kind of do this. But thanks so much for watching and sticking around for another video. I hope I didn't bore you to death with specs you could have found already online, like I've said 10 times before, but I just wanted to tell you because they're here and I like specs, and I just wanted to make sure that you were getting all the information you needed. Before I go, I just needed to say that like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you want to see in the next video. And there's always the awkward stuff. They don't show you this, but the awkward stuff after the video's over and you gotta stop and get up and turn this off and this light off and then that light off and this light off, and you're still watching.